Welcome to the Cyclical Doula podcast. I'm Emma, a certified Sympto instructor, a fertility awareness educator, and your guide to fertility coaching and reproductive health education from menarche to menopause and all the different types of motherhood in between. If you're seeking a natural, science-backed approach to managing your fertility, understanding your cycle, or simply connecting with your body in a new way, you're in the right place. Each episode is designed to empower you with the tools, knowledge, and confidence you need to thrive in your unique journey. Quick disclaimer, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice or individualized charting support. For specific guidance, please consult with your healthcare provider or fertility awareness instructor. Now, let's dive into today's topic.
Welcome to the space where cycles breathe, where the real raw life of a mama leads. From motherhood's highs to charting the low, your body's story is the star of the show. Matriarch heart.
Before we get started today, I want to give a shout out to the local space that I generally love recording in, the Trolley Room in Summerville, South Carolina. If you're a creative, a small business owner, or someone who just needs a quiet, professional place to work or record, this place is such a gem. They offer a private office space, a beautiful conference room with a flexible event space, and a dedicated podcast studio. It's calm, well set up, and makes the whole process feel super easy, which we always need more of. You can learn more at thetrolleyroom.com and also go follow them on Facebook. Welcome back to the Cyclical Doula podcast. Today, I'm sitting down with Rachel. She is a certified nutrition practitioner, a metabolic balance coach, and the founder of Rachel Holistic Wellness in Toronto. Rachel is a former teacher turned holistic nutritionist, a mom of two, and her work centers on helping women beat bloating, balance their hormones, and finally feel at home in their bodies again. Her own journey started when her daughter struggled with eczema, something conventional approaches couldn't resolve, and what began as a search for answers for her family became a deep passion for understanding the gut-skin connection and the gut hormone connection, and ultimately a whole new career supporting women through her signature program, the Bloat Fix Method. Welcome, Rachel. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So
Excited.
tell us a little bit more about who you are, either maybe outside your work, a little bit more about who you are as just a human being.
A human being. Let's see. I feel like right now, first and foremost, I'm in my mommy era.
Yeah.
So I am a mom to two beautiful little girls. I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I also have a mini labradoodle. So she's the
Uh,
third female.
yeah.
So my poor husband, especially I feel like in the years to come, we'll have lots of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And other than that, I mean, when I'm not mommying, I love to travel. I love to read, explore. I'm a big foodie, which is one of the reasons why I love doing what I do as well.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't get to explore as much as I would love to at this stage in life, right? All the traveling is mostly to see the grandparents, to see the kid, to see the family, but all in all, that's just something that I like to do and try to get outside, I feel like, as much as possible and just be
Yeah.
out in nature. So, that's
Yeah.
me.
That's great. Awesome. Tell me more about um your business. Like how does that connect to who you are as a person?
Yeah, for sure. So I am a certified nutrition practitioner, like you mentioned. So I focus a lot on gut and metabolic health. So helping women, moms in particular,
Yeah.
with their gut health. So whether that's indigestion, constipation, you name it, all the things.
Yeah.
Um, and also helping them because honestly, when you start working with a human,
Yeah.
never just one piece, right?
No,
So
not at all. Yeah.
yeah, so you like I can and I think that's why I love what I do, right? Because yes, it's gut health, but it's so much more. I don't just focus on that. It's so interconnected with your lifestyle, with
Mhm.
what you're eating. A lot of people come to me with multiple different conditions, right? Not just the fact that they can't go to the washroom, right? So, yeah, I just love being able to support women in whatever phase of life they're in
Yeah.
and just helping them uncover some of their root causes and try to give them some answers that they've been trying to uncover.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Well, I'm excited to talk more about that in a little bit, but tell me something that's like one of your go-to rhythms or rituals in your life on a daily basis.
Sure. So, well, right now we're in the middle of like the holiday
Yeah.
season in
Yep.
December. So I feel like this is so important for me as a mom right now with so many things that are going on.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm really trying to, as you say, like it's more of a rhythm,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
These and what might be a rhythm for me, I just want to be clear, it might not be uh somebody else's rhythm
Oh, for sure.
or
Absolutely.
where they're starting, right? So like it's taken a while to get
Yep.
to where I am, right? And implementing these like micro habits to get here.
Yeah.
But, for me, it includes, waking up in the morning, having my glass of water with some lemon, and just really rehydrating, just
Yeah.
think of it or not. It makes a difference,
Yeah.
not just with, our digestion, but just with how we function, right, as
Mhm.
as humans.
And just as and we're like plants sometimes. We just need
Yeah,
water.
we need to be watered, especially
Yeah.
after all that yeah, after all those hours. So that's really important, and something that I'm trying to cultivate more into my own day is getting outside for that sunlight, and
Mhm.
that's not always easy, first thing in the morning, right? Because we have these little beings all around us. And when my husband is around, like I can maybe get out with the dog and get a little bit
Yeah.
of me time as I do that.
Right.
But with them, that might just be taking them to school, right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. I'm still getting outside, getting the sunlight, rebooting my circadian rhythm. Uh,
Right.
and then, making sure that I'm eating 3 times a day, as
Yeah.
basic as that sounds, but that's another rhythm that so many of us.
I feel like especially as moms, it's
Yes,
really hard to prioritize that.
yes, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. You're trying to do all the things. So, just making sure that I'm eating, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. That's
hydrating,
yep.
eating, and then once the kids are down, then I can really try to reset my nervous system.
Mm.
Getting my Nervine teas, if you will,
Yeah.
to try to get back to, like, that calm state, and, that's pretty much I mean, I could go on and on, but I'll keep that simple. That's what I'm focusing on these days. If I can get through and do that, then that was a good day.
That's great. I love that. That's amazing. So you originally started learning about nutrition. You used to be a teacher, but you started learning
Mhm.
about nutrition because of your daughter's experience with eczema. Are you willing to share more about that experience and like how that came about?
Yeah, of course. So my world was in the classroom, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
and I was teaching middle school. And then I had my first daughter. And I mean, life as a teacher is hectic.
It's tough. Yeah.
I mean, even raising humans is
Yes.
like enough, but
Mhm.
adding a classroom filled with like whatever,
Yeah.
depending where you are, 20 to 30 kids, right?
Yeah.
Um, is a lot for the nervous system. So
For sure.
I knew that this wasn't going to be like it for me, especially once kids started being part of my picture.
Yeah.
But my daughter was a really big catalyst to that because
Yeah.
she had eczema, as you mentioned. And so she was like my sensitive baby.
Yeah.
Um, I was trying to figure out exactly what was causing this. Like, as parents, you're trying to
Mhm.
figure out what is going on, what
Yeah.
can I do, and you feel helpless. I was seeing
Right.
um the doctors, no formal allergy was found,
Right.
and so then I started seeing different practitioners again, trying to get different answers. And I saw how much of an impact like nutrition and certain
Mhm.
vitamins and minerals had on her. And so I wanted to like learn more about it
Yeah.
selfishly for
Right.
my own family. But then I just saw like how passionate I was about it to begin with.
Yeah.
And so I enrolled part time. So I was still teaching.
Mhm.
I enrolled part time. It was like a 2-year gig.
Yep.
And the more I learned, because I here I was thinking that I was going to be trying to help other moms with their skins or their kids'
Right.
skins. But the more I learned about it, the more I discovered how much the gut had an
Mhm.
impact
Mhm.
on the skin, not only the skin, on hormones and just
Right.
different conditions. And I was like, okay, well, what am I doing here? Why would I just focus on this when I can go to the root source?
Yeah.
And support so many other, people and conditions, and regardless of where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's what I decided to do. And in my mind, I'm always going to be teaching.
Yeah. Right, right, right. It's all teaching
It's
for
all
sure.
teaching. It's in a different capacity
Yeah.
now. But also I love working with moms because number one, I can definitely relate to
Right.
them with them. But I also know that what they are doing in their everyday life is something
Mhm.
that they're going to be showcasing their own families. And hopefully this
Yeah.
will be passed on, right? Because a lot of the times it's those lifestyle habits that create the issues that we're seeing later on. So
Mm.
if we can set those foundations from the start, then
Right.
we're winning. So
Okay. That's great. I love
mhm.
that. Okay, so just do you think that you can, like, quickly this might be an impossible answer, but, like, unpack for us the, like, science behind why the gut affects so much of this, of our lives, of our skin, of our health, of our hormones? Is that easy to describe in a way for somebody who might, like, have never understood that that's connected?
Yeah. So in general, I guess to make it easy to understand, I mean, everything we put in our body,
Right.
right, starts like, yes, the what we put on our skin and our environment is
Right.
important too. All of that plays a role. But how we fuel ourselves,
Mhm.
is essentially the foundation for our health.
Right.
Every single part. Our body is all interconnected, right? Even our digestion, it's a digestive system, and each system is interconnected. So, just by starting in this, micro level, what is our body actually not just digesting, but absorbing is going
Mhm.
to play a role and, cascade out to the rest of our body. So I hope that kind of simplifies it
Yeah.
in a more general sense.
Yeah, that's good. You've mentioned about the gut being like a second hormone gland. Can you tell me more about what you mean by that?
Yes. So when we think of hormones and where they're produced, we think of maybe your adrenal glands, you
Right.
think of your thyroid, you think of maybe your ovaries, but the gut is also another central piece
Yeah.
to the puzzle. And this is where I might start getting sciency on you.
That's
So,
fine. The science is good. I just didn't know that was easy to explain to begin with. But science is great.
yeah.
I'll ask questions if
So,
I'm confused.
okay. Yes, please do. If there's anything I need to clarify, if I'm going over your head, stop me. Um, so, okay. So, yes to those glands playing a role too.
Right.
I'll give you some examples of the gut and hormones
Okay.
playing together, as I'll call it.
Yeah.
So, we can start with how hormones are cleared, okay, from our bodies. So we have these hormones, our body that is being produced from other places, sure. Once they are used, our body needs to eliminate them some
Mhm.
way, somehow. And the way that one of our, pathways is through our gut, right? So,
Right.
um, the liver, the liver is the one that basically accepts the hormones. Let's talk about estrogen right now. So estrogen comes after it's been used. The liver likes to package it into this nice container, and it's going to be going either one of two ways. It's going to be excreted through our kidneys, through urine, or it's going to be excreted through our bowels. And what happens is the point of this little package is for it to be eliminated. That is the end goal.
Right.
But if a person is not going to the washroom when they should be, right? If they're constipated, if they're not regular, what happens is that this estrogen is now left circulating,
Right.
recirculates back into the body, and now we have this unnecessary amounts that are rising, right? So you might get
Yeah.
something called like an estrogen dominant pick,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
And what that means in, simple terminology is that you might be experiencing maybe some PMS like symptoms.
Right.
So you have all this estrogen floating that shouldn't be there. You might get breast tenderness
Yeah.
around your cycles, right? You might be experiencing moodiness, painful periods, migraines, you name it. Um, and all of this can sort of be traced back to the gut and not,
Yeah.
our bodies not being able to evacuate and get rid of those toxins as
Right.
they should be.
Mhm.
So that's one example. Uh,
Yeah.
another interesting connection, and going back to those little packages that were created in the liver, we have a group of organisms that live in our gut.
Mhm.
Um, we have an entire ecosystem actually that lives
Right. Right.
in our gut. There's like, I believe it's 5 to 7 pounds of bacteria
Oh,
that, like,
cool.
from our bodies, yeah, that is literally just part
Just
of
there.
this ecosystem.
Yeah.
And there are groups of bacteria called the estrobolome. I don't know if you've
Okay.
heard of them.
I haven't, but I'm excited to learn.
Yeah, and literally their job is to decide what happens to that estrogen. Do
Okay.
we keep that estrogen? Do we get rid of that estrogen? And these estrobolome, they produce this enzyme called beta glucuronidase. I'm telling you, this is like science.
No, but this is helpful. I think it's good
Ah.
to talk through it all.
So they produce this enzyme called beta glucuronidase. Now, um, they act like little, I don't know, like little ninjas, if you will.
Okay.
Um, those packages that were created to be eliminated later get attacked by the beta glucuronidase. And so they open them up and they release the estrogen. And
Mhm.
again, you get this estrogen dominant picture.
Right.
So, moral of the story is we need to make sure that this estrobolome is in check. We don't want too
Yeah.
many of those because if we have too, like a dysbiosis or an imbalance of those, then that can affect how much estrogen we have floating around.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. And it's mind blowing. So
Yeah.
I do you as you've been working with people, do you feel like you mentioned estrogen dominances? Like, do you feel like a lot of women that you're working with have that, or is this kind of like a very specific group?
No, I definitely see a connection.
Yeah,
When as part of the process, when I work with clients, I get them to fill out this big intake form.
right,
And part of that intake form includes, their menstrual cycles and how
right.
they're experiencing things. And PMS definitely shows up
Mhm.
when I have my clients that have some digestive issues going
Yeah,
on. So they're definitely tied together. You
yeah,
know, they're dance partners. Like the gut affects hormones, hormones affects the gut, and like they're
right.
just working together.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. So other than maybe PMS, what other, like, and you said people not going, like, having bowel movements regularly. What other, like, flags of things, or what other things are they are people looking for in general as you're talking with them of like, "Oh, man, I need to reach out to Rachel because I am having these experiences."
Yeah, for sure. So, another like we talked about some of the digestive concerns,
Right,
like especially like constipation's a big one.
right.
But another one that people might not link necessarily is your mood.
Okay,
Uh, so there's another hormone called serotonin. And serotonin is like your happy, feel good hormone.
right.
And 90 to 95% of that is actually produced in your gut.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So basically, if your gut is inflamed in any way, if there's dysbiosis again, which is that imbalance of
Right,
microorganisms that are living there, um, people might feel that in their mood.
right,
So, um, before reaching for, extra external support, start looking inwards, I would
yeah,
say, and see if there's anything going on or anything that we can improve gut wise. Because again, it relates to the rest of you, right? It's like your body trying to send you a
right,
signal. Um, and in terms of like clues, I would ask yourself three main questions when you're trying to see if there's like a connection.
right,
So the first one, yes, like, are you pooping every day? Okay,
right.
it's a big one. And I just want to be clear about this because I have people that come to me and say that, yes, I'm pooping every day. And I'm sorry I'm using the word poop, but like,
No, I
pardon my
mean, I talk about
language.
mucus all the time, so poop's nothing.
And so like, is it pebbles
Mm,
or are you actually fully emptying?
right.
Okay. And if you don't know where you're at, there's something called the Bristol stool chart.
Mhm.
And there's seven different kinds. Okay.
Right.
And ideally we want to be like between a 4 and a 5. Um, so essentially start there, see if,
Yeah.
you know, that's happening the way that it should be happening. Number 2 is trying to see if there's any correlation between how your digestion is doing in relation to your cycle.
Mhm.
So, this is a big one. Yes, there will definitely be some fluctuations, and that's
Right.
normal, but to what end, right?
Mhm.
So, um, when it comes to, I mean, I can go into specifics if you want.
Whatever is good with you is okay with me. Yeah,
Um,
do it.
okay. So, for example, like when we're in our luteal phase, progesterone is higher.
Right.
So progesterone tends to relax the muscles.
Mhm.
So what that means is that your motility muscles, so what's contracting in order for us to actually have a bowel movement and feel that urge, is not working as effectively
Yeah.
as it is in the rest of our cycle. Okay. So many women might feel a little bit more, I guess, slower when it comes time to getting the job done, if you will. So making sure that you're well hydrated, that you have your little squatty potty during that time,
Yep.
right? So all the things to help you. But like if you're really backed up for like a few days before, that it shouldn't be that extreme
Okay.
is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
yes, you can notice it a little bit, but if it's too much, then that's something, that we can work with or work
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And then once you actually move into the menstruation piece, you have the prostaglandins that are working on the uterus and helping the uterus contract, right? To
Right.
shed the lining. And during that phase, contraction is also happening in your bowels. So many people will experience something called, what is it? The period diarrhea, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yep.
But again, yes, it's going to be faster during that time, or it should be faster during that
Right.
time. But if it's to the extreme point where you're having like loose stools for multiple days during your cycle and so on and so forth, that's also like something that you need to figure out. It's not the way it should be. Like, yes, there's going to be some shifts, but
Yeah.
it shouldn't be so extreme.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. And the last question I want you to ask yourself is if you're consuming enough fiber. And I know that protein is all the rage right now,
Yep.
right? Everywhere you turn. Um, but we can't forget about fiber. And if you can't tolerate fiber, then definitely that's a sign that we need to work on your gut. But in general, we're supposed to be the ideal
Yeah.
number is between 25 to 30 grams for women. Okay.
Which looks like what?
Oh boy.
Like
Well,
what's a good example of that? Because I feel like that's like some like abstract number.
yeah. And so here's the thing. A great place to start is getting a tracker because I
Okay.
have my clients do this. Um, because it's hard for me to like literally list
Oh
everything
yeah. Right,
that
right. This
will
is gonna
give
be
you
yeah,
the
for sure.
25 to 30 grams. But where you can start, a very tangible place to start is getting a tracking app like MyFitnessPal, or I think Chronometer is the other big one. And I don't want you, this is not me telling you like you have to track everything, but just to know where you're currently at, like
Yeah.
where are you sitting? So
Right.
you can see, oh wow, like I have a long way to go, or
Yeah.
what, like I'm close to that. So that's not what I need to be focusing my
Right.
energy.
For sure.
And disclaimer, please do not try to jump right from wherever you are to the
No fiber.
25.
25.
That's also gonna backfire.
Yeah.
So slow and steady, please. Um, anyway, so those are the 3 questions that I would ask yourself,
Yeah.
to really see if you need to start focusing on your gut and whether the gut is something that might be related to some of your hormonal symptoms.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I do you feel like there's people who like answer those questions and I'm like, I'm totally fine without having gone through any gut work? Because I feel like for myself and like everybody that I know, they would probably be like, oh yeah, like I got to work on some of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world
Yeah.
and with moms,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's as I said, like, these are baby steps that we're working
Right.
towards.
Right.
Um, so I don't want anybody to get overwhelmed, and that's the reason why when I work with people, it's not just one session, right? Like, this is a
Yeah. It has to be a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't shift overnight and you're not going to be able to start implementing these things overnight. So give yourself grace. Um, and it's all about trying to be consistent, right?
For sure. So I can imagine that the work that you do is like so specific to the individual based on like what their needs are and what they're experiencing and all of that. But is there like a specific process that you go through? You obviously said you meet with them more than once, but is there a specific process that you go through with them to kind of get into healing and just being on a different path with their gut?
Yeah, for sure. So the way that I like to work with my clients is number one, trying to see where they're currently at, as I mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
that intake form gives me a lot of information about their lifestyle,
Mhm.
about their medical history, about their symptoms, about their sleep.
Mhm.
Right? So all that is key.
Yep.
And then I also have them fill out a food journal, so a food and mood journal to really see if there's any connections between the two.
Okay.
So, and making sure that some of that is also during the weekend because, right, it's very
Yep.
different what our Monday to Friday looks like versus the
Yeah,
weekend.
absolutely.
And then I also have them if they have any blood work that they have so we can
Mhm.
really like get a full picture.
Right.
And with my clients, I also do something called it's a stool test. There's
Yep.
different kinds, but I like to use a stool test with them. And what that is basically, they provide a sample of their stool and that gets sent to a lab. And then that gets analyzed for the DNA of all of the different organisms that are living in our gut. There's over 60 different markers that get analyzed here. I know
Crazy.
it's pretty cool. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Instead of just like guessing what can be going on with your gut, because trust me, like you can be bloated, but there can be so many different reasons why
Right.
an
Mhm.
individual is bloated. So that helps us really pinpoint what's going on and gives us not just, the organisms that are living there, but what's the state of your gut? Like, what does your gut lining look like? What do your digestive enzymes look like? That beta glucuronidase that I mentioned earlier, like, are they working overtime?
Mhm.
Is that creating an imbalance in the estrogen metabolism that's going on?
Right.
So many different answers that we can get from that. And then when we have all of those pieces, I can really try to put the puzzle together for that one
Mhm.
individual and start working with them bit by bit to help them get to the other side.
Okay, that totally makes sense. Yeah, that's great. Um, so you also have your bloat fix method. Do you wanna tell us about what that looks like and how that's different than maybe what you were just describing?
Yeah. So I do have my signature program called the Bloat Fix Method. And that is basically uh, targeted specifically for busy moms.
Okay.
So I wanted to create a community
Yep.
for my mamas,
Yeah.
uh, where number one, it's a hybrid model. So it is a 4-month program, and I basically walk them from beginning to end using the same, methodology structure that I talked about earlier,
Yep.
but it is geared with them in mind and also has this community for
Mhm.
them to not feel alone and to be
Yep.
able to share and to feel accountable because
Mhm.
there's something magical, I guess, or not magical, but we all do better when we know that there are other
Mhm.
people that are doing this with us.
For sure.
And, it's just that extra push because, as I
Yeah.
said, a lot of this has to do with habits
Yeah.
and lifestyle. So if you don't have someone like trying to nudge you a
Yeah.
little bit, then it makes it harder, or you might go a little bit slower, right? So
Right.
I created this to basically help them and just build that community piece, which I think is important.
Yeah. That's awesome. I feel like I was just talking about this with somebody else today about like how important community is in feeling like you're getting anything done or like feeling supported or that you just like are not the only person who experiences this in any way.
Yeah.
That it can be really powerful.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
especially today, right? Like, after everything we've been through, like, the community is, I think, what everyone is seeking now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like for obviously like your communities online, but just like in general, having that space of people who are like-minded that you can connect with on a regular basis can be really helpful in just feeling supported and empowered on making those decisions well.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Do you what do you see the women that you're working with, like what do you see the biggest shift when they're starting to implement this well?
Yeah, so I think the biggest shift I see is a sense of relief
Mhm.
because, as we mentioned at the start of this conversation, right, like as moms, we tend to put ourselves last.
Right.
And a lot of the times we keep pushing through some of the symptoms that we're experiencing, whether that
Right.
is hormonal symptoms, gut symptoms, whatever it might be. And we just keep going. And that's, your body is trying to give you a signal.
Mhm.
And at first it might be a whisper, and then it gets louder and louder until it's like yelling at your face, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so in terms of, like, the shifts that I see, it's more of these women going from being frustrated with their bodies, right? Like, "Why isn't it working properly? I'm doing all the things.
Right.
Why isn't anything working?"
Mhm.
To now getting some answers
Yeah.
and now starting to get curious and
Mhm.
starting to, like, feel more empowered because now that they have some answers, now we can use some of the tools to
Right.
really start shifting things. So, I think that's huge for anyone who's, like, in the trenches, right? And trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
spin their wheels, but, actually understanding what's going on is important.
For sure. Do you feel like well, obviously, like, this is your work that you do, so, like, the gut is really important to your brain about how this is all connected, but do you feel like everybody, like, listening, if they're feeling like, "Ooh, like, some of those things might be something that I'm experiencing," is working with the gut, like, a good starting point, or is there something else that people should, like, start with first to try to figure out what might be going on, for example, with, like, estrogen dominance? Or maybe just, like maybe even go back, maybe just even just, like, not pooping regularly.
Yeah. Um, Honestly, yes,
Yeah.
but in an indirect manner, yes, I wanna say.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
um, in terms of, like, if we're talking about it obviously depends on what you have, but no,
Right.
regardless of what it is,
Yeah.
it's going back to those foundations. So,
Mm.
what do your daily habits look like?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I know that's not the sexy answer, um,
Right.
and it's the hardest piece, right?
Mhm.
To really start focusing on yourself because honestly, health is the majority of the times it's free, right? Like you
Yeah.
don't have to go outside and so many shifts I see in my own practice when people are starting to eat properly.
Yeah. Mhm.
When people are starting to hydrate themselves properly, when people are starting to calm their nervous system. Uh,
Mhm.
right? Like the nervous system is so big today. And as
Yeah.
moms, like, I mean, we're in this era right now, and I know it's very overstimulating, but we have to try to find a way to, like, regroup
Right.
and ground ourselves because it's going to show up in different ways, like your hormones, your gut, like in your in your energy, right? So,
Yeah.
I think that in terms of places to start,
Mhm.
that's where I would start.
Yeah. That's great.
Right.
I have a question that might be, like, so specific, but I've heard of some people when they're doing all of this work and then they get a stool test that they then, like, go through, like, eliminating foods
Mm,
to, like, make sure that they're, like, healing their gut in a good way.
yeah.
I, like, personally feel like that's an interesting choice, but I would love to hear from you because this is obviously, like, your field. Is that generally a good way to, like, go about, um obviously,
Yeah.
it's, like, a practice, but is it do you find that that's helpful for people?
So there are different practitioners.
Right.
There are different approaches. In my practice, I am all about adding
Yeah.
more foods. So it's
Mhm.
not about the elimination. It's about how can we actually add nourishment into
Yeah.
you that your body is lacking. There's
Mhm.
so many, and I know it and I see it. So
Yeah.
many women start with the elimination. Oh, it must be the
Right.
food.
Right.
But I can tell you that the food, the react most of the time, not
Yeah.
always, most of the time, people's reactions to food is because of the state of their gut.
Mm.
So, and how do we nurture the gut? Well, we need to feed it the things that it needs in order
Mhm.
to work properly, not by eliminating things. Now, that being said, as you mentioned, like you referred to the testing, right? If the
Right.
testing comes back and shows us that like gluten is not being
Is
uh
really bad. Yeah.
right, then I'm not gonna tell you to keep eating gluten.
Right. Right, right.
um, Same thing, like I have clients that come to me and say, I cannot eat this. This gives me this reaction.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make you eat that at the
Right.
moment. Maybe we'll try it after we've worked on your gut and tried
Yeah.
to heal the gut lining, for example, which is actually one of the main reasons why people start feeling intolerances because
Mhm.
their gut lining is not, the way that it should be
Right.
working.
Right.
So yeah, so to answer your question, in my practice, it's
Yeah.
more about adding things than
Yeah.
taking things away. Do you know how many women I work with that are actually, like, under eating?
Probably everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, at least at first.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So and it's funny because when even, like, my in-laws, when I'm with them and they're like, "Wow, you eat you're eating a lot." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, I'm eating 3 times a day. I'm not snacking, and I'm really, conscious about what I'm putting into my body."
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah, I hope that answers.
Yeah, no, I think it does because I think sometimes the reaction when people are having some of these issues is like, "Oh, take out gluten, take out dairy, take out all these other things," which again, like you mentioned, for certain people, like, that is for sure necessary because their
Yeah,
body is not doing well with that particular food or whatever, but that there's so many other underlying lying factors that could be influencing what's going
100%.
on, and just taking stuff out isn't necessarily always the best way
Correct.
to go.
If your body is tolerating a food, then why? Why are we gonna be touching it?
Yeah,
Now, am I gonna be, helping my clients make healthier choices?
for sure.
Looking at the ingredients and being more conscious about some of the ingredients that can, cause reactions in our gut? Yes, like 100%. But am I
Yeah,
gonna be saying, "Stop eating dairy," or "Stop eating the gluten" just 'cause?
yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, do is there a connection with our gut and our hormones and our blood sugar, and is that something that you work with too?
Yeah, for sure, and the answer is yes.
Of
Uh,
course.
and again, that comes back to that, like, lifestyle, how are you feeling your
Yeah,
body?
right.
When we think of I'm just throwing one out here right now. If I think of PCOS, for
Yeah,
example, um, a big culprit is blood sugar management.
yeah,
So, going back to the foundation of how are we building our plates? Are they blood sugar balanced? A nice little way to remember it is, PFF is your BFF.
okay.
PFF are your proteins, your fat, your fiber. So
Mhm.
every time you eat, anything you put into your body at any point, make sure that you have those three components
Mhm.
that will minimize those blood sugar spikes, which can again affect our hormone levels, right? So,
Yeah.
um, cholesterol is another one, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people think it's automatically related to how much fat you're eating, but
Right.
in reality, it's actually how the blood sugar is being managed and then how it's
Mm.
all converted. So, really important to focus on how we balance our blood sugar throughout the day.
Yeah.
Uh, Another key piece, like I mentioned, myself eating 3 meals.
Right.
And that is very intentional because every time we put something into our bodies, our blood sugar is, of course, going to go up.
Yeah.
We want to try to maintain those levels as steady as possible.
Okay.
So, snacking, um,
Mm.
unless you were like an athlete or a kid,
Okay.
we don't really need to. We can have those
Okay.
well plated meals that focus on those 3 components,
Mhm.
and that's gonna make a difference with our hormone levels, our blood sugar levels, our
Yeah.
cholesterol levels, so just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. I maybe it's just like the influences that I've gotten recently, but I feel like there's this huge push, at least here in the US, of advertisements for like continuous glucose monitors for people who like are not diabetic. Do you feel like that's helpful in regards to understanding what your glucose is doing? Obviously, like not for everybody, not a thing, but or is it just kind of another
I
fad
mean,
of
it
technology?
it's interesting,
Yeah.
yes, like, if you are super curious about how your body reacts to different foods, like, it's more of, like, a little scientific
Yeah.
experiment. So, like, I would be super curious one day to try it, but again, it's not like a one-time thing. I would actually monitor it for a while and
Yeah.
really track, like, your food. So if you wanna go that route and start
That'd be
seeing
wild to
patterns,
do a research project on
sure,
something
yeah, if
like
you wanna put
that.
yourself through that, great. Do I think it's necessary or
Yeah,
everyone should do it? No,
yeah,
but,
absolutely. I was just curious. Perfect.
yeah.
Um, do you, um what's, like, the one thing that you want every woman or mom to know about their gut?
I would say, and going back, because I know we're talking about the gut and the hormones,
Yeah,
their connection, I would say try to remember that constipation is not just a gut problem, it is
yeah.
also a hormone problem.
Mhm.
And fiber is not just for your gut, it is also for your
Mm,
detoxing. You need that fiber in order to bind to those toxins, to the extra hormones to be able to go somewhere later.
yeah,
So, really, if you can remember anything from this conversation, just remember those 2 things.
that's great. Amazing. What else do you wanna share?
I wanted to share that I do have a next round of my signature program coming up in the new year, which I'm very excited about.
Awesome.
So, if anybody is interested in really deep diving into their gut and their health a little bit more, then sign up or put your name down for the wait list. You can find that on my website, so rachelholisticwellness.com, or you can also find a link in my bio on Instagram, so rachel.holisticwellness. And yeah, I'm excited. We're going to start rolling information out in the new year, but the program itself is going to start that first week of February. I just wanted to
Okay.
give moms a little bit of a breather
Yep.
because I know that the holidays are cuckoo, and to expect somebody to just like hop on board right after is not really realistic. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so all the information is gonna start rolling in the new year, and if you want some TLC, definitely sign up for that.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so excited to hear more about that myself and just or to share it with more people too. Um, Thanks so much for being here. Is there any last things? I know you mentioned your Instagram and your website. Is there anything else you wanted to share about like how to connect with you?
Honestly, I think, like, Instagram right now is a great way to reach me. Yes, you can also email me. You can find that on my website, but, my doors are always open. My
Yeah,
inbox is always open, so I'm happy to support anyone. I also have, a free 20-minute discovery call, so
awesome.
if you wanted to just chat, see if we would be a good fit, if I'd be able to help you, I can 100%, chat with you and work to see if it's a fit.
Awesome. That sounds so good. Well, I feel like I learned a lot and I'm so excited to get this out to some people too.
I'm
And I
happy.
appreciate your time to explain all of these things. So thanks so much for being here.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that, and I hope it wasn't too science-y,
And not
but
at all. I think it was great.
excellent. Well, thank you so much for having me, Emma.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for tuning into the Cyclical Doula podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much if you shared it with a friend or posted it on Instagram and tagged me at Cyclical Doula. If you've got a question you'd love to hear answered on the show, head over to mma.com/podcast to submit it. And don't forget, leaving a quick review really helps this podcast reach more people. Plus, if you upload a screenshot of your review on my website, I'll send you a special surprise as a thank you. You'll find all the details in the show notes about this show today, and I really appreciate you being here and listening in. I'll see you next time.
Welcome to the space where cycles breathe, where the real raw life of a mama leads. From motherhood's highs to charting the low, your body's story is the star of the show. Matriarch hearts, cycles that speak, charting the truth in every peak. This is the cyclical doula sound, where body wisdom is always found. Matriarch hearts, cycles that speak, charting the truth in every peak. This is the cyclical doula sound, where body wisdom is always found.
Just a disclaimer and a reminder that any guests on the show are views of their own and not necessarily views of Emma LLC or Emma Goff herself. Thanks so much.